When the levees in New Orleans failed in the midst of Hurricane Katrina, around-the-clock bus trips transported nearly thousands or hundreds of thousands of people to the safety of Houston's Superdome. But for many, the toughest part came in the days, weeks, months, and even some years after the storm passed. The damage in New Orleans was catastrophic. For Terrence Gasper and many of his clients, the realization quickly set in. The Big Easy would not be an easy place to go back home to. 2 decades later, they still appreciate how Houstonians opened their arms and welcome them to their new life here.
When a storm was coming that way, I decided to go hunker out and ride the storm out in the Lafitte project by my cousin, because I figured, you know, the projects were all cement and brick, so that was the safest structure we could possibly be in at the time. I called my sister on the phone to check on them because they was on St. Roch Avenue in the 8th Ward. When I spoke to her, she was like, she had to call me back. The side of the house came off. The day after that, the water was green and brownish looking. You could see oil and all that stuff floating in the water. People started like shooting, and I was like, man, I know people not shooting in the flood, like what they could be shooting at. But they were shooting the locks off the doors of the stores so they could go in the store and take the stuff out the store. You know, they was trying to get it back home to cook because they, you know, didn't have any food or anything at the time. And a lot of people didn't have gas stoves. So they was using barbecue grills and everything to cook their food on.
Wow, this morning we've learned 2 levee breaches are sending floodwaters pouring into low-lying areas of New Orleans.
I was telling everybody, man, it looked like the water rising because they had a U-Haul truck in the middle of the project, in the court, and they wasn't paying attention. So I'm like, watch, tomorrow we're gonna look at this truck again. And the water was going higher and higher up this truck. We started walking out the project, and the water was about chest height. There was floating people on air mattresses, like the elderly people was getting floated out on air mattresses and stuff. As we got closer to the Superdome, we could see everybody from uptown was coming up the ramp. So like uptown and downtown meets at the top of the bridge in front of the Superdome. I had a grill at the time, so we lit the grill and started barbecuing the food that we had left, the little stuff that we had left. We started barbecuing and cooking for everybody. And one of the military people walked up, he was like, who authorized you to light the grill? I'm like, man, you don't see everybody out here hungry, like, man, we hungry. So he walked away and he came back, he was like, all right, it's okay. I think we stood there for like 2 days, 2 more days, and then the buses came and they told everybody to line up. So we standing in all these long lines and we sitting on the bus waiting, and the bus rolled off. We never had a destination. We did not know where we was going. And as I was riding, I woke up, I took a nap, I woke up, I was in front of the Superdome. I'm like, man, we in Texas. Everybody started getting off the bus. Make note, I ain't never seen none of my family members at the time. I'm only with my friends who I evacuated with. One of the best feelings when I went through that line to get breakfast, I saw both of my parents were sitting down eating breakfast. So I was like, yeah, they all right. You know what I'm saying? It was like a big relief off me. I felt good after that. After that, you know, we stood there maybe about a month or 2, and that's when I started cutting hair and everything in the Reliance Center. When I first got here, you know, watching TV and stuff, you'd think they'd have cows and horses everywhere, right? Just watching Dallas on TV as a kid, that was my perception of Texas. So when I got here, it was just big. I'm like, man, this is a big place. Like, you know, like we need cars to get around. Like, cause I tried catching a bus one day and it took all day. Like, I'm like, I couldn't make it on the bus cause it takes so long to get where you need to go. At first, when we first got here, they accepted us with open arms. Like, everybody was real generous. They was trying to help out, you know. I really appreciated that, you know, cause that, when you don't have nothing, just the slightest thing is a big help. Houston is home. It's like my second home. I've been here for such, you know, 20 years. It was a life-changing event, like, you know, just to be displaced all of a sudden and had to start over. It made me grow a lot. You know, I became a lot more mature. Like, I stopped wanting to club as much as I used to club and have fun. Material things, all that stuff is secondary to me now. That's not the main thing on my list now. Now I'm just trying to, you know, stay healthy and provide a better lifestyle for my kids now, you know. I done met a lot of good people here, you know, that treat me like family. Like, you know, sometimes it ain't always your family that opens up doors for you. So, you know, like, just to be able to be here every day and not worry about looking over my shoulders and the type of stuff we did in New Orleans is the peace of mind.
Explore more stories and extended Katrina coverage now at KHOU.com and streaming on KHOU 11+. Lots of great stories about community.